Okay, so for this portion, we're gonna have our yoga strap handy. Just start my little timer again so I know what we're doing. And let's just go back to that little breath. So we're starting in our butterfly, and we're gonna take that little breath as we ended the last class. So I'm just gonna lead with the top of the head and move this around in a circle. But this time I'm gonna tilt the chin up as I circle around and back. So just taking that little circle. Bring it to the top. I'm gonna hold it here. I'm gonna take it the other direction. So just taking that little circle, trying to keep my butterfly legs and circling, adding that side body, adding that cervical spine. And I'm gonna hold it here to the front and lean into the hands, working down into my elbows. And then as you can, taking it forward into those hands. You can round the back here, let the head relax. And then pressing on the floor as you drag this in, bringing it up nice and tall. All right, so I'm gonna take my feet out of butterfly and I'm just gonna bring them into cross, and we're gonna add those arms. So I'm gonna take that lean, circle it around, up and over. Getting into that side body. So we ended the last class with a bit of this, so we're just a little bit more. Nice and long. And we're going to bring it to the top. Hold it here, take it back the other direction. So I'm going to lean and circle. And we're going to end at the top on this next circle. And yet again, leaning into the hands, elbows, or reaching forward. I'm just going to come up long enough to switch that top leg, and I'm just going to go right into the lean. So switch your legs, go into the lean, lean, or reach. All right, bringing it up tall. So we're going to go over to our knees. Quick little notes. All right, so we're going to go into a hip flexor stretch. So I'm going to come to my kneeling position, and I'm going to step my right foot forward. So I want to try to keep my posture really tall. So think ears over hips over shoulder over knee. Now my knee is going to go back a little further than my hip because I'm stretching my hip flexors. So wherever you would like the hands to be. Breathing into this tight spot. So really think about opening the front of this hip. All right, now from here, I'm just going to bring my hands to the floor and I'm going to sink back. I'm going to stretch my hamstrings. So from here, I'm just going to add a little point and flex. Now in this one, I also like to add a little internal and external rotation just to target some different areas of these muscles. So our muscles don't run straight up and down, they kind of wrap all around. So anytime I can target some of those other little spaces, I feel like that's good for me. All right, so I'm going to come forward. I'm going to walk both hands to the inside of my foot, and I'm going to take that really low lunge. So my hands are supporting me, and I want to think about driving this left hip forward. I'm going to turn my back toe under, and I'm just going to lift that back knee. So engaging my quadriceps and intensifying that stretch just a bit. So lifting. So think about straightening out that back leg. Now I'm going to lower that knee, and I'm just going to let my right leg kind of tilt out just a bit. We're going to go down into iguana. So I'm going to come down into my left elbow, and then as you can, into your right. We're here in our iguana. Pressing that hip forward, letting that knee tilt out just a bit if you need that. And then I'm going to come back up all the way to the top. Hold it here. And I'm going to bring my back foot in. Now this can be a little bit intense. So if you need to take a break, you can take a break. We're going to get this stretch again here in just a moment. All right, so I'm just going to let that foot release. I'm going to heel toe my right foot over. We're going to come into our pigeon. So I'm just going to sink down into my pigeon. Nice and tall, shoulders back. So I want my hips square. And if you need a little block or something under your right hip, that can kind of help you keep this position, keeping the hips square. Now, before I got into this, I should have talked about this. I'm going to take my yoga strap, and I've got a little loop, so I'm going to bring it in, and I'm going to pull it around my foot. All right, so I'm going to bring this in, and I'm going to go palms up and rotate, so I'm palms down. So palm up, palm down to get this nice little stretch. I'm going to take my other arm and reach it around for my elbow. If you are not here, you can be just here, pulling that heel toward your bottom. You can also take the foot in the crook of the elbow, and you can take a little bind. So a couple of options here for you. You can reach that overhead if you've got that nice shoulder. I don't. All right, so I'm going to reach that out, and I'm going to take both hands on the floor, and I'm going to lift and press into a downward facing dog. So take a moment here, pushing into that stretch. Spread the weight through your fingers. And I'm going to bring it down to my knees and take it back into a child's pose. So just take a moment, reach. Okay, so we're going to take it on the other side. So starting off with the kneeling position. And this time I'm going to step forward my left foot. So coming out into this nice kneeling lunge. And I want to try to keep my back really tall to start. So think about pressing the hip forward. I'm keeping my posture tall. So ears, shoulders, hip, and knee somewhat in alignment. You might be slightly forward of that knee. All right, now shifting back, stretching out through the back of the thigh, getting those hamstrings, little point and flex. Excuse me. Little internal, external rotation. And I'm going to bring it forward, both hands to the inside of your foot, and lean into this stretch. Really pushing your hips toward the floor, lengthening through the back of this leg. And I skipped one, and I have to go back and get it. All right, coming down into your elbows if you can. And you're a little different on each side, so one side may feel better. All right, so from here, I'm just gonna come right back up into this low lunge. I'm gonna turn my back foot under and lift. I wanna lift that back knee. You can bring both hands to the inside if you'd like. Nice and long through that back leg. Think about really engaging your quads, lifting that knee off the floor, keeping it super straight. Now I'm going to set my knee down, and I'm going to come up, and I'm going to pull, balance. I'm going to pull that back foot in, keeping my posture as tall as I can. And I'm going to release. I'm going to heel toe my left foot across, come down into my pigeon. I'm going to grab my loop. Nice and tall here, guys. And if you need anything, a little block under this left hip can help you keep yourself square. Now we're going to pull that back foot in, either with the loop or just with your hand. I'm reaching my opposite hand to elbow. If you can't reach both hands to the loop, keeping the posture really tall. Think about sending your breath into some of those tight spots. If you feel like one spot in particular, try to send your breath into that spot. Try to relax. And carefully, slowly, releasing. I'm going to bring this leg around into my butterfly. So we're just going to take that little butterfly stretch one more time. I'm going to take the knees open. And if your knees are still a little bit tight, if they feel a little high, use your forearms to help you press those knees open. I'm going to lean forward into my hands, forward into my elbows. And if you're feeling pretty good, reach out a little further. Pressing into the floor, drag those hands in nice and slow, come up tall. All right, so let's get a little bit of our straddle to pancake. So I'm gonna open up. Doesn't have to be super wide. So from here, what I wanna think about is knees and toes pointing up. They have a tendency to maybe roll forward with us sometimes. So we're gonna take that straddle. And for me personally, I find if I get a little tight in my hips or it feels like it might cramp, a little bounce, a little shake. Nice and tall. I'm going to take my hand behind my right leg and take a nice little side stretch. So I don't have my straddle super open yet. You might, and that's totally fine. Reaching, so I'm into my hand. I'm going to go down into my elbow, and I'm taking this nice side bend. Now I want to try to keep this left hip on the floor. I find that it kind of wants to lift with me. I'm going to add a little point and flex of my legs, breathing here. And I'm going to bring it up nice and slow. I'm going to take it to the left, taking that nice little side bend into my hand, into my elbow. So depending on how you're feeling, knees and toes are pointing up, so if they kind of roll forward, think about actively turning them back. And I'm going to bring it up nice and slow. Let's see if we can scooch forward half an inch, 1 inch, 2 inches, depending on how you're feeling. All right, so from here, let's start with some little pelvic tilts, forward and back. Scoop the belly, press. And if your straddle is still a little further closed, that's okay. So just kind of work on this pelvic tilt, opening up these adductors. Nice and tall, back is straight. So I'm going to lean into my hands, actively keeping those legs turned out. And as you can, down a little deeper. And once you get here, you might find some of those little pelvic tilts are needed to kind of help those hips out a little bit. And if you're good, keep going. Actively turning out those legs. And then if you're all the way down, take it belly to floor. If you're still up here on your elbows, that is fine. If you're still working on those pelvic tilts, keep working those. Otherwise, we're down, belly to floor. You can rest your chin on your hands or your forearms, your cheek, whatever you'd like. Now, if you can, if you're in your pancake, reach out for those feet. Nice and long here, guys. Breathing. If you're still on your forearms, keep breathing, seeing how much you can increase that stretch. And I'm going to bring it in and bring it up. I'm going to lean back and let those legs slide together and shake them out. I'm going to do some little windshield wipers. I'm going to bring my knees to bent, and I'm just going to turn. Let's think about that, that internal rotation on that hip. A lot of external was going on through those stretches, so getting that little turn in. All right, so let's go back into our straddle, and let's take those little side bends again. You might be able to get a little deeper this time, and if your straddle is a little wider, you're gonna place your elbow or hand in front of the knee. If you're still back here behind the knee, that's okay too. All right, so I'm gonna bring my hand in front, and I'm gonna take that little lean. And elbow comes to the floor, and I keep that little lean. And then if you can, see if you can bring your shoulder down a little closer. And reach, and you're reaching for the toes. You might touch them, you might not. Maybe you can grab the ankle. If you're one of my bendy girls, you probably have that leg behind your head somewhere. Keep breathing into that stretch. And up with control, nice and slow. Woo, shake it out. Let's get the other side. All right, so hand is either in front or behind that knee, and I'm gonna take the lean into the hand, working into the elbow. I'm gonna take that big side stretch. And if you can, you're gonna bring your shoulder down, you're gonna reach. Maybe you touch your foot. Maybe today's not the day. We're a little different on each side, so maybe you can touch on one side and not the other. Keep this side bend. I want to try to keep my elbows slightly open here. Breathing into that stretch. Looking good, you guys. We're going to bring this up nice and slow. And yet again, I'm going to lean back. Bring those legs in. Shake them. Little windshield wipers. All right. Good job. Let's take this over to our belly. So lowering with control. I'm going to take my feet out about shoulder distance. We're going to do some swan, and we're going to focus on lengthening out of the top of the head and pulling the shoulder blades down and back. Hands are just below your shoulders. We're going to inhale and exhale, peel, lifting up, pressing into the stretch. And if you have a really bendy back, you might be super high. If you don't, like me, You might be down here, still kind of waking it up, getting it ready. Nice and tall, lengthening through the top of the head, lengthening through the neck. Belly button, scoop to the spine. I'm going to lower with control. Just take a little break here. All right, so I'm going to keep the hands in place, maybe slide them back a little further. If you want to go a little higher, we're going to inhale and exhale, peel, lengthening through the top of the head. Now let's add some neck. So I'm going to look over my left shoulder, chin rotates down, around, looking over your right, and center. We'll go back the other way. So right, and circle, and center. Left, circle, and center. Let's go right, circle, and center. Press up a little bit higher, lifting through the top of the head, scooping that belly button, lowering with control. Nice and easy. Let's press back for a child's pose. Okay, so still working on our back. We're going to go into bow. We're going to come out onto our belly and pull your heels toward your bottom. I'm going to reach back and first grab over the top of the foot. Now this one, I want to think about pulling into my feet, but pressing my feet away so I can add this little stretch. So coming up, opening up through the shoulder and chest, lifting those knees, press, 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 breathing, nice and tall. Take an inhale, and on the exhale, release carefully. Give yourself a quick little break. And do that one again. Now, if you can add a little bit of rocking, now this is a Pilates exercise. Well, the bow is a yoga-based exercise, but the rocking is more of a Pilates exercise, and it's kind of hard to get going. If you can add some rocking, feel free. So we're going to do that by taking the hands around the feet, and I'm going to lift, and I'm going to lift and rock. Lift, rock. Think about lifting your knees up. Woo! And bring it down. Give yourself a little break. I'm going to press back for child's pose. All right. And so this one is actually becoming one of my favorites just because it's twisty and it feels good. And it helps me with my back extensions, which I need a lot of help. So we're going to take it from swan into scorpion. So I'm going to start with my feet about shoulder distance apart. And as we go into this, I want to think about keeping this lower half active. Hands are just right below your shoulders. So we're going to press up into a swan, scoop the belly, lifting through the top of the head. And then as I lower out, I'm going to stretch my left hand because it's towards you, you can see. And I'm going to lift my right leg, come up and around, little twist, nice little stretch. And then I'm going to come back around with control and slide this hand in, and I'm going to take my swan. And lower, and right, and up and over. And I'm using this top hand to kind of help press me into the twist. We can add something onto that as well. So I'm going to bring it around and press and lean up and over. And if you want, you can open this top arm back. Bring it around. Swan. And lower. Reach, twist. Top arm is going to open up really big. Bring it in, bring it around. Let's get one more each side. Big swan, lower, reach, twist. bring it in. Oh, I forgot to add my upper arm. Sorry about that. Add your upper arm if you're there. And bring it back to center. Swan. Lower. Reach, lift, twist. Add that upper arm. I'm not going to forget this side. Nice little shoulder opener here. Back to center. And let's get one more swan. Up, up, up. Lower with control. Press back for child's pose. And take your time sitting into this. I'm just going to turn my knees open and let my body settle right in between my knees. All right. So if you have your strap handy, let's grab that. And if you have a rubber elastic band, this one is actually, it has a little more give to it, obviously. So what we're going to be doing is this overhead shoulder. So I'm just going to have you sit however is comfortable for you. And so we're going to take, and I'm just going to open up and back and forward. I've been dealing with some stuff with my shoulders for a while, and it's still giving me some trouble, but I find that this one seems to give me the best relief, a lot of range of motion, and then I feel pretty good afterwards. So just opening up big. So I'm using an elastic band for right now, but if you have a strap or even like a little broomstick or something that you can hold, you're going to take it up and over. Yeah, this one's a little harder because it doesn't have that give. Keeping it tall. Woo. Hello, shoulders. And up, back. Stretch, 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 stretch. I'm going to hold it to the back. We're going to bring it up and over to the front. Find that left or that right elbow just really wants to bend on me. Okay, so from here, if you have a small weight, something light, I've got these threes, and I kind of feel like that might even be a little heavy for what we're doing, so I might drop out of those. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a little thread the needle. So I'm going to thread, and I'm just going to get myself set up. All right, so I'm just going to leave my head and right shoulder on the floor, and I'm going to take my left arm, and I'm going to circle up and around, and up and around. So a little bit of strengthening to go with that stretch. All right, so let's come to the bottom and change directions. So up and around, trying to make that circle really big. And up and around. So my needle is still threaded over here, pressing into the floor with that right hand a little bit. And I am going to bring that weight down, and I'm going to switch sides. So I'm going to thread the needle, head is on the floor. So I started off on all fours, thread the needle, and I'm going to leave my left shoulder on the floor. Left hand is pressing. Yep, take it up and around. Up and around. Just trying to get that big range of motion here. Oh yeah, the shoulder's not real happy. Keep that belly button scooped. And let's take it the other direction, guys. So reversing directions, up and around, up and around. One more. Whew. And take it down. All right, so let's revisit that strap or band. And we're just going to do that little up and over again. Just kind of see if that made a difference on some of that flexibility. So we're going to go up and back, up and over. Nice and tall, shoulders back. All right, let's go ahead and take that down. I'm gonna keep my strap handy. We're gonna lay on our back and we're just gonna get those little hamstring stretches here. So I'm gonna lay back. I'm gonna extend my left leg, open up through the right. I'm gonna add that little point and flex. Now, if you have a strap or something, you can use this to help you pull this leg into the stretch. Nice and long. Now I'm going to bend my knee slightly and lower this leg to the outside. Now I've got the strap, so I'm going to use the strap to pull that leg open. I want to keep my left hip and the back of the knee pressing into the floor. So really trying to keep this left side really heavy. I don't want to let it roll, so I'm using my strap to pull this leg out. And if you don't have your strap, you can use your hand to press. You can also take the hand out and support it if you're not quite ready to go that far. All right, so let's bring the knee into the chest. And so instead of going out to our side, so just right out here, perpendicular to our body, we're actually going to take the leg more out to the side up here. All right, so I'm going to take my leg into this little hamstring stretch and I'm going to bring it across. So out here a little higher. So almost that same little side bend stretch that we were getting earlier, similar. Now I'm going to bend my knee and pull it across. I'm going to stop halfway. I want to keep my shoulders on the floor and kind of wake up this outer hip and then go ahead and ease across, pulling into that stretch. Oh, there's a kitty. Inhale, exhale across. I'm going to take my gaze across my right arm. Full spine twist. Hi, kitty. Come on. Knee comes to chest. And one more time. Just lengthen it out. Bring your nose up to your knee if you'd like. Really lengthening into the stretch. Now, I'm going to take the weight away, the strap, and I'm going to do push-pull, so a little PNF stretching. So I'm going to push into the hand, pull against that leg, and then see if I can relax just a tiny bit more. A little point and flex if you like. And PNF, push-pull. Come on, guys. Giving it that little bit of resistance. And relax. Now, try to keep the leg in place and let the hand go. Holding on, pull it back in. Hold it in place. Let it go. Bend the knee, pull the other knee in. Give yourself a little break. Okay, let's get the other side. So I'm going to take my right leg down, bringing my left knee in, and I'm going to utilize my strap and lengthen through the back of that leg. Really trying to keep this straight, long line. We're a little different on each side, different from day to day. Now I'm just going to take this leg out to the side, pulling it open. So pretty much just straight out to the side, about hip level. So opening up through the inner thigh, those adductors, keeping this right side heavy and really pressing down into the floor. Shoulders down. Bend the knee, bring it across. I'm going to stop about halfway, making sure I'm keeping my shoulders on the floor, getting that nice little twist, and then go ahead and ease it across. I'm going to take my gaze out across my left hand. And bring it in. All right, so I'm going to take that little stretch up on an angle, so not out here perpendicular, more up here to the side. So I'm going to start with my knee to my chest, and then I'm going to unfold that leg and pull it out and up. Trying to pull this leg up a little higher. Bend the knee and pull it back. I'm going to take the strap away. We're going to take that little stretch one more time. Little P and F. So I'm going to push and pull, keeping that strong hand position on my calf. And then relax. See if I can take it a little deeper into the stretch. And again, P and F, push, pull. All right, from here, we're going to do the passive flexibility or active flexibility. So I'm going to pull the leg in. I'm going to hold it. Try to keep it there. Keep it there. Strong, straight. Hold it. Reposition it. Pull it in. Hold it there. Let go of the hand. Keep it. And bring it in. And relax. Pull both knees in. Give a nice little stretch. Whew. All right, I'm going to bring this up and over. Another little butterfly, just easing forward. Now let's extend the right leg forward. So just keep half a butterfly on the right or on the left. Taking this, a little forward fold. Leaning into the stretch, keeping a nice tall back. So think about projecting your heart forward. Reaching out for your toes. Fold forward, nose to knee. And we'll bring that up. And let's just switch sides. Left leg is nice and long and straight. Right leg's half a butterfly. And we're going to take that forward fold. So starting off with that long straight back, I want to lean, projecting my heart forward. I'm going to reach out for those toes and just melt nose to knee. And we're going to bring it up. And I'm just going to come over to my knees. Nice and tall. Let's take a big inhale. Arms are going to come up. I'm going to drop my right arm into a tricep stretch. Nice and long. I'm going to grapevine. Reaching the fingertips toward each other. Maybe they touch, maybe they don't. And I'm going to inhale both arms up. Exhale, left arm into your tricep stretch, keeping that belly button pulled in, keeping your chin lifted. So if you feel like your chin is dropping, bring it back up. Grapevine, reaching the fingertips toward each other. They might touch. Let's release those arms. Bring the hands together. So I'm going to scoop my belly and push. Opening up across the upper back. Big press, press, press. And then open up. Pecs, chest, biceps. Press the hands back. Interlace and push the knuckles away. And release it with control. Take some easy shoulder rolls. Take a big inhale. Arms are going to lift up. Exhale. Let's do that again, guys. A big inhale. Arms are going to come up. And then exhale. Thank you, guys.